Welcome, dear students. Uh, Today, we'll be talking a bit about the description related to a critical analysis of Gayatri Spivak's classic article, Can the Subaltern Speak? Now, enough has already been discussed on the topic and the matter related to what exactly Gayatri Spivak talks about in this article. And as we already discussed, that this article is based in the background of the post-colonial literature and studies, and also about we also have had gone through the post-colonial literature a bit in understanding of what exactly post-colonialism means, because definitely it's connected to post-colonial literature, and also about subaltern. Enough we have discussed about the analysis or the literal meaning of the term subaltern that has specifically been used by Gayatri in her article, Can the Subaltern Speak? Now, apart from all this, we already know that Gayatri is also talking about the marginalized, the lower classes of society, and how she raises the issue of sati and the self immolation practice that had been prevalent in India, in Indian society, especially during the times of the Britishers. And also, she states that how the Britishers wanted to take the credit of banning or abolishing this sati pratha or sati practice, and what all terms they have used for this, and the credit they want to prove that they have done an immaculately marvelous work in eradicating all the evils from the society of the colonies which they ruled. Now, a critical analysis of Spivak's classic 1988 post-colonial studies essays, where she argues over the core problem for the poorest and the most marginalized in society, and they are the subaltern. That is, they have no platform to express their concerns and no voice to affect policy, debates, or demand a fairer share of society's goods. So they feel that they need a platform where they could put up with their injustices that has been done to them. A key theme of Gayatri Spivak's work is agency, the ability of the individual to make their own decisions. Now, while Spivak's main aim is to consider ways in which the subalterns, her term for the indigenous dispossessed in colonial societies, were able to achieve agency, this this article concentrates specifically on describing the ways in which Western scholars inadvertently reproduce hegemonic structures in their work. Now, this is what we can say that focuses this article of Gayatri. Now, Spivak here herself is a scholar, and she remains acutely aware of the difficulty and dangers of presuming to speak for the subaltern, as she writes about. And as such, her work can be seen as a predominantly a delicate exercise in the critical thinking of mm, uh, interpretation skill, and she looks in detail at the issues of meaning, specifically at the real meaning of the available evidence. That is, an attempt to highlight the problems of the definition and to even clarify them. Now, the underlying significance of this article and the interpretation here in this case is a matter of difference and is being allowing subalterns to speak for themselves and of imposing a mode of speaking on them that, however well intentioned, can be as damaging in the post colonial world as the agency stifling political structures of the colonial world itself. So, in other words, we can say that by clearing away the detritus of scholarly attempts at interpretation, Gayatri Spivak takes a stand against a specifically intellectual form of oppression and marginalization. So, there are so many adjectives which could be connected, or in fact, you can say synonyms that we can connect to when we talk about the word subaltern. It could be oppressed class, it could be the lower class, it could be the rejected class, it could be the affected class, it could be the marginalized. So Basically, it just talks about the way injustice has been done and how she is bringing into focus, highlighting the injustice and what all facts she is stating in this article. Thank you so much.